Hi everyone, Kim Hooson here with Girl Scouts of Silver Sage, coming at you with another just-in-time cookie training. Today's is on the initial order and planned orders. We're going to go through a really quick PowerPoint that ABC put together, and then I will do a quick walkthrough, borrowing a troop that I have permission to use. So first, let's get this going. All right, so first steps, you're going to log into your ABC Smart Cookies. Then we're going to build your initial order. Easiest way to do this, since everything now talks with digital cookie, is to do it by girl. So I'm going to show you that way to do it. And the orders by girl is going to be at the top half of the screen. When you scroll down to the bottom half of the screen, you'll see your booth selections where you can enter any troop cookies for your booths and your extras. Those extras are what helps to round everything up to the next case. They are probably what you see right now as your troop's cookies on hand, because your troop is assumed they have to take these cookies. This is when your girls from Digital Cookie sell 6 cases of Thin Mints and 8 more. This extra section is going to take the extra 4 packages of cookies from that last case to round it up to a full 7 cases of cookies. So you will have 6 cases and 8 packages that you need to distribute to your girls for their orders, and then 4 extras that are going to be held onto as your troop inventory cookies. And don't worry, you will get rid of these cookies. They can be used to sell at a cookie booth. They can be given to another girl who has additional orders that she's taking, because your girls aren't going to stop taking orders once this order goes in. They're going to continue to take orders. They're going to continue to have orders come in from Digital Cookie. So these packages that are in your extra section, you will be able to get rid of them. Worst case scenario, if your girls, for some reason, can't make any more sales or don't do any more selling more cookies, and you decide not to do cookie booths, you can trade those cookies off with another troop in a troop to troop transfer, which we will talk about in a different just-in-time video. Finally, we are going to select a day and or time for our initial order. And when I do the walkthrough, we may not be able to do this because I don't actually want to commit a troop's initial order before they're ready for it. So some of these steps we can only walk through in the PowerPoint. So once we've logged in, you are going to go onto your orders tab and the troop initial order. This is where you're going to find all those pre-orders that have come in through Digital Cookie for each of your girls and place additional orders for more. This is what that initial order screen looks like. So you will see at the top in that first box in the center, you've got your initial order. It'll have your troop number. So for troops that are returning, you will have additional data on this page that we're not going to see right now because the troop in this presentation does not have a last year. So in this box here, this is your total sold last season. So you will see that data here for the total number of cookies that you had last season. Our next box is our per girl average. So you will see what the current per girl average is for your troop this year, and then you'll also have last year's. So the next box here is your troop's initial order packages from this year and from last year. So it'll tell you how many packages that you're currently ordering on your initial order, and it'll tell you what you had last year, which is great if you're trying to have a little bit more, a little bit less, whatever ends up working out for you. This last one here, and then this last one here just gives you a dollar value for your initial order, because in February, we are going to do a ACH for 25% of what this value is that'll be owed to council. So what we end up doing for that amount is we will take this value. We are going to subtract any of your troop proceeds. We are going to subtract any money that your troop has collected through Digital Cookie. And then that number, 25% of that number, is what we're going to look for in that ACH at the end of February. Last year, I want to say a good 3/4 ish of our troops didn't even have a payment due at that first ACH. They had collected enough money in digital cookie that they didn't need to worry about it. Okay, so other things that are important on this page. So you will see over here in the corner, we have our order deadline. This is obviously old since it's got a 2024 date on it. Our troop order deadline for this year is January 26th at 11:59 p.m. Once that time hits, whether you're done with your order or not, 11:59 hits, it is sent over to your service unit cookie manager. Your service unit cookie manager then has 24 hours of access to it before it is sent over to council, whether it's done or not. It will tell you who last edited your initial order. Most of the time, this is going to be you or your cookie manager. But if you need help or whatever, and you need your service unit cookie manager to check in on something, or if you need one of us at council to check in on something, this might have one of our names on it instead. Final button over here is we have the ready for review. So once you are done with this entire process of your initial order and you are ready for your service unit cookie manager to take a look at it, you are going to click this little toggle and it will, I believe it turns blue. And that signifies for your service unit cookie manager that your order is ready, you think it is completed, and they can take a look at it and just make sure that your variety mix looks good, that you're ordering a, maybe a similar number of cookies to last year, if that is what your goal is. They'll take a look at a couple of different factors. The day after that, Team Cookie will take a look at it, and we mostly just look for anomalies. So if we have a troop that is ordering way too many lemonades or peanut butter sandwich, and we look at it and go, okay, their order consists of 30% peanut butter sandwich, and we don't usually sell that many peanut butter sandwiches as a troop. Let's take a look at that. We'll contact the cookie manager and then ask if that is actually the order you wanted to place, or if you wanted to take a look at it again, because maybe you are going to a peanut butter convention and you wanted to make sure you had enough peanut butter cookies. Then finally, down here at the bottom, each girl's name is going to have a drop down next to it, next to total packages. If you click that drop down arrow, you can see all of the different varieties of cookies that she has said she wants to order. I apologize, this is blurry. That's how it came to me. But we can kind of get an idea of what's going on here. So there are two sets of boxes. I apologize, this slide looks a little bit blurry, but that is how it came to me. So there are a couple of different columns in here. First of all, we have this first column here with these blue boxes, and this is it says INV packages. So these are your individual packages. And then we have this second set of columns here. These are your pre-sale packages. And then we have a final column here, and this is going to be your total number of packages. So this Girl Scout, we have here in this pre-sale packages, these you cannot edit. You will not be able to edit the pre-sale packages. These are what your Girl Scout has set in digital cookie as her girl delivered packages. So these have an order committed to them. They have been paid for. Your Girl Scout needs these cookies. There's no way she can get anything less than what has already been paid for. These blue boxes in the individual column, those can be edited by you. These can come over in multiple ways. So if you already have numbers in there, that is probably a parent that submitted their initial order via digital cookie. And I will show how they do that in the next couple of slides. This, again, can be changed by you. What this should not do is it should not match the pre-sale packages column. This should be its own set of numbers. Because if it matches the pre-sale column, they probably added all of those cookies into their cookie order, and now they're going to duplicate their orders. We don't want them to do that. So if it matches, double check with your parent that this is actually They're paper order card packages of cookies. That's what should be in these blue boxes. Anything from the order card, if you are requesting that your families select cookies that they want for a walkabout or for a mom and me or parent and me booth, this is where those cookies would go. And again, this is editable. So if a parent, before you submit your initial order, says, I added stuff in there, I submitted it to you, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that anymore. And they want to uncommit before you've submitted your order, they can do that. However, once the initial order is submitted, these orders are what your Girl Scout caregiver has committed to. This is what they're ordering. They are obligated to these cookies. You can, as Trooper Cookie Manager, say, I will take some of them back, but that is you. Up to you. That is your obligation. You do not have to say that. You could say, families, you are committed to whatever your initial order is. End of story. And then they just have to figure out how they're going to sell them. Of which a parent in me booth would be a great idea. So once you have numbers here in the blue boxes, if you need them, and you have numbers here in the pre-sale packages, it will total them up at the end, and then it will also give you a value of how much the cookies in the initial order are worth, in case anybody needs that information. Okay, so using Digital Cookie for the parent initial order. First off, this is going to be in Digital Cookie, so no longer in Smart Cookies. This is in Digital Cookie on the girls page. So we can see up at the top here, we have our Girl Scout Haley, and this is on her My Cookies page. Now, parents, if they have any issues with this, underneath here, I scrolled over it, but underneath here in this white box, it says, like, My Cookies need help. And that will take them to a walkthrough sheet that should be able to help with any sort of questions they might have before they come to you or before they come to customer care. So on the My Cookies tab, then we are going to select, okay, then we're going to go through our orders and we are going to either type in a number or use the plus and minus buttons to select how many cookies we want. So Haley here has 17 packages for Digital Cookie for in-person delivery. And I will hopefully be able to do a demonstration of this up to submitting it. I don't have permission to submit it, but I have permission to kind of play with the page. So we can take a look at that hopefully in the live demo. So we're going to look at that, and then when we start adding numbers in that column, this total packages in your order is going to change to the total number of packages ordered between the ones you've entered and the ones you need in Digital Cookie. And then when we enter those after saving, because we're going to click the Save Updates button, after saving it, we will see a number here in the total packages entered as to what we have requested. So one of the very helpful bits in trying to figure this out is, where did I put the website? So one of the very helpful things to figure this out is by going to Cookie Central. You can scroll all the way down, and it is now both in the Forms and Tools section and in the Cookie Booth and Cookie Coverage section. It is this Cookie Booth workbook. It is digital. It is a Google Sheet. You will need to go in here and you will need to download a copy. Excel is my preference, but you could download it a different way. Other ways may not allow you to manipulate some of the data. But if you download it in Excel, you can then go to this How Many Cookies side and figure out, based on our council's percentages, how many cookies you need to order for your cookie booths, for a walkabout, for your Girl Scout, however you want to do that. I've also included on here, if you were a brand new troop and you have no idea how many cookies to order, these were our actual per girl averages for each of those levels sold by Girl Scouts last year in the 2025 cookie program. Now, the Explore More's percentage on here is an estimate. We are estimating they're going to be about 10%. Right now, through digital cookie orders, they are approximately 10% of our total number of orders. So we're estimating Explore More's to be in between 8 and 10% if you're looking for those numbers. So I have this, I've downloaded it in Excel, and I want to put in here as a parent, my Girl Scout is wanting to sell about 150 packages just on her own through mom and dad's work, through grandma and grandpa. She wants to do a little walkabout, maybe have a lemonade stand in the driveway. But these are the cookies that I want to commit to for my Girl Scout. This is what I said to her, that yes, mom and dad, we can help you sell 150 packages of cookies. So going in on that, I am going to estimate an order. Now, me personally, you could 100% take 10, 14, 10, 6, 43 and enter them into our Girl Scouts cookie order. I am a little weird. I like rounding to a case or half case because I feel like they fit better in my car when I take them home. So I am going to go in here to our Girl Scout example. So I'm going to go into my Girl Scouts cookies, and we are going to put in our cookie order. So this is just what I am estimating to be my cookie order. Again, I like the round cases, even though these aren't round numbers, but I like the full cases. So even though 10 Adventurefuls is what's recommended, happened to be my daughter's favorite, so we're going to go for a full case. Lemonades, even though it recommends 10, we're going to go for a full case because they're my husband's favorite. And same thing with Thin Mints and Caramel Delights. It has like 43 and 37. I'm going to round it up to the next case because we have a pretty easy time selling Thin Mints and Caramel Delights. They are just they're the neighbor's favorites. Now peanut butter patties, it recommended 20. I'm rounding that down. My daughter has a harder time selling the peanut butter patties, so I'm going to round that one down. Same thing with the peanut butter sandwich. We're going to round that one down a little bit to 6 because she also struggles a little bit more to sell those. But the caramel chocolate chip, I'm going to bump up to a half case because not only does my daughter like them, but she wants to make sure that she has a couple of extra for her cookie customers. So instead of ordering 3, we're going to order 6. Once I'm done with all of that, I am going to save my updates. Oop. Okay, so once I do all of that, I am going to click on Save Updates so that my numbers that I've entered save. And then I'm going to click on Submit to the Troop Volunteer. Once you click Submit to my Troop Volunteer, you cannot unsubmit it. There is no way to go back. There is no way to turn around and say, I made a mistake. You would have to contact your Troop Volunteer and say, oh my gosh, you know, I really do need an extra case of Thin Mints. Can I add another 12 packages of Thin Mints to my order? Or whatever it is that you might need. You would have to then go through the Troop Volunteer, and then Troop Volunteers, you would enter it in those blue boxes in the girl's initial order. These orders in Digital Cookie must be submitted by January 20th. So that is next week, Tuesday. Same day that camp registration starts. So just make sure that you finalize this information before you submit it, because you can only submit it once. Okay, so once you've submitted it, this is what your page is going to look like. It will say that your initial order date is due on 1/20. You have sent your order to your Troop Volunteer. This one went through on 1/11. And then they've requested all of the variety of cookies for their mom and me booths and their walkabouts and to take care of at mom and dad's work and all of their paper orders. So in here, you see that they've got the girl initial order or their initial girl delivery order of 59 packages of cookies. So this 59 is going to match whatever is for girl delivery in Digital Cookie. And then the initial offline inventory is whatever mom has entered, as mom or dad or caregiver has entered as the cookies that they want, that they are committing to for that initial order. Just a reminder that cookie share cookies are, we call them virtual cookie shares. They are not part of your inventory. They are not a physical package of cookies that you, the troop, has to deal with, or the parents have to deal with. These are all cookies that get collected by council, and we get them out to our various contacts to help get them to military veterans and families. And so that's where all the cookie share cookies go, whether they come in the initial order or if they come in later on. All right, so next we have the troop booth and extra cookies part of the order. So flipping back to smart cookies, this is the bottom half of our initial order page. So still in that troop initial order, but when we scroll down, we now have the booth and extra cookies section of that page. Here we have our booth cookies, and then here we have our extra cookies, and then our grand totals are going to be down here at the bottom at the very last dark blue section. And these extra cookies, we can't change. This is packages of cookies that have been committed to your order because they round your cases of cookies up to the next case, because the initial order has to come in full cases, which are 12 packages of cookies per case. So if we have a grand total of, 10 cases of Thin Mints plus 5 extra, we are going to see over here that we have 7 extra Thin Mints that we need to add to our initial order in order to round up to the next case. So what you can do with these extra cookies, you can calculate your booth cookies to take those into account. If you know that you want to order 4 cases of the gluten-free cookie and you have 6 sitting here in your extras, so you can order up here 36, 3 cases, you want 4, plus 6 packages of cookies, plus your 6 extra cookies will give you total 4 cases of cookies. So you can do your math and calculate that so that all of your extras end up being 0. But this is where we will enter those cookies for our booth. So if we want to go back to this workbook and put in, okay, I think I'm going to have an average of 100 packages of cookies per booth. Last year, based on the Smart Booth Divider, our council's average number of packages sold per booth was about 108. So 100 is a pretty decent estimate for packages of cookies per booth. And say my troop has 5 booths scheduled in the first 2 weekends. We'd want to make sure that 100% you get that first weekend of booths or cookies ordered in your initial order. We also recommend that you order your second week's worth of cookies in that initial order as well. But if you're worried about ordering too many cookies and you want to be conservative, we can change this to a different number for week 2. So if in week 1, I want to order enough cookies to have 5 booths, I'm going to order this number of cookies. So let's copy that, set it over here, pasting my values in there so that I actually get what I need. And then if I have, say, 6 booths in weekend 2, but I want to be a little bit more conservative and I want to say we're going to sell 60 packages per booth. I can always get more in a cupboard, but I want to be a little more conservative with my initial order. So I can go and I can take these. We are going to paste our values and round them up. And then we have each of the different cookie flavors we want to order for our initial order. So I will take these numbers, I will go input them into my initial order for my booth cookies. And then maybe I want to round a little bit. This is one of the only times you might be able to order some of those caramel chocolate chip cookies. So maybe I want to go in here and I want to add 2 more cases because I have a gluten-free family in my troop. So you can add a little bit more, a little bit less on what you think that your troop is going to sell, but this is a great estimator. If you are brand new troop and you're not sure you want to estimate this way, so you can estimate by per girl average. So if I have a troop of daisies and last year's average was 168, and then we are going to take our number of daisies in our troop, we have 8. Maybe I have a total 10 girls, but I know 2 aren't going to participate, or they're only going to participate a little bit. Maybe they only want to do some online orders, or they might try 1 cookie booth. And maybe I don't want to count them in my total because they're not sure they're going to sell a whole lot. And then I want to say that, okay, out of whatever these girls are going to need, I want to order half of that. Because I don't want to commit all of these girls to selling 160 packages of cookies. We want to just estimate. So maybe I'm going to say half of that. Maybe I want to say 75%. Or maybe I do want to commit them all to 160 packages and we are going to put them at 100% and we're going to order all of those cookies. Daisies, I don't recommend ordering 100%, but 50 to 75, that's a really good estimate for your daisies. So then we have in here, if we're estimating we want to order some for just 1 girl, it will give me the numbers for that. For the number of girls listed above here, we have, so this is for 8 girls, how much I would want to order. And then here's how many packages I want to order in my initial order to have 75% of the total number of packages of cookies for my 8 Girl Scouts. Okay, so maybe I have a troop of these 8 girls and they're half daisies, half brownies. And I have to be a little bit more creative with my estimate for my PGA. Because I'm a new troop. My brownies have never sold before. My daisies have never sold before. Got to be a little creative. So we're going to take this. I'm going to take my daisy average multiplied by the number of daisies, my brownie average times the number of brownies. We're going to divide it by the total number of girls to get my average per girl. So it's going to be about 175. So maybe I want to put my 175 in here. So for my mixed troop of daisies and brownies with 8 girls, we want to commit to 50%. And so this is what I'm going to want to order for my girls or for my troop for that initial order. Whichever way you want to calculate it, it's available to you. And this tool is a magnificent piece of help for trying to figure out some of those questions. So highly recommend using that one. Once we have figured out what we want for our initial order for our troop, for our booth extras, and then if we want to keep these extras or try to compile them with the booth cookies, however we want to do it, we are going to go down here and we are going to click on Save. Save in this page is at the top. Just a reminder, sometimes save and delete flip places. So definitely read your buttons and make sure that you're saving it when you're ready. Additionally, that ready for review button is down here at the bottom too. So you could click on it down here. It'll mark it as ready for your service unit cookie manager. They can take a look at it and adjust it or okay your order and you're all good. Oh, sorry, that was a big mouthful. So we're going to click on the pickup time. We're going to click save. And then the order grid is going to appear down here at the bottom. You want to make sure that whatever you're entering, you take a look at that bold word at the top that has your number of units. This particular cupboard will only accept full cases in your planned orders. The majority of our cookie cupboards do have only full cases available for the first 2 weekends of cookie booths. So from the time that the cupboards open on February 19th through 2 weeks, hold on, handy sticky note. So through approximately March 5th, they will ask for you to create orders in full cases only. After that, you can add 2 packages, 4 packages, 5 packages. And that'll be for the ending, because we also know that in that, third and fourth weekends, maybe you only need 2 packages of lemonades or 1 or 2 packages of peanut butter sandwich. You don't need a whole full 12 packages from the case. We do request that you stick to this full cases for the first 2 weeks. Even though packages might be an option to put in your planned order, troops, the cupboard managers can round those packages up or down to the next full case to their discretion. And that is because we get a lot of orders in those first 2 weeks, and having to like shuffle them in and out and things like that is really difficult to just manage those partial cases. However, we do have our Juliets that can go to any cupboard, and they can order in partial cases. So we do have that as an option. However, it is only available to the Juliet troop. All other troops need to stick with full cases, but I can't exclude one troop or another in the system. So make sure you are entering them in full cases for the first 2 weeks, and then you can split them between cases and packages for the second 2 weeks. Then at the bottom, there is a section for notes. So if you have a different parent who is picking up this planned order, or if this planned order is specifically for your go-getter Girl Scout who wants to sell 3,000 packages, and you don't have the space to store those in your garage, but her parents do. And so you said, okay, Jill, your parents can go pick up your cookies on a planned order. If you do that, though, you still have to transfer those cookies to your Girl Scout. But there, you can have a different parent set up to take that planned order home. Okay, so that's for that note section. Also for that note section, sometimes if a cupboard runs out of a certain cookie. So I know last year the Boise cupboard ran out of trefoils for a little bit. And so we would put in that note section that we had to decrease your order by X number of packages because we did not have them available. And so maybe if you had printed out your planned orders, or if you had a record of what you had ordered, and then when you actually received them, you received less. This little note section explains why. So cupboard managers do tend to use that for whatever notes that they feel they need in order to remember what your order was. Then you're going to click on save. You will see this little pop-up that says your order has been successfully saved, and it will show up in your planned orders, and it will show up in the cupboard as a planned order. In your orders, once you've picked up a planned order from the cupboard, it changes. It is no longer a planned order. It changes to be a cupboard to troop transfer. So if you see those cupboard C2T transfers on your manage orders page, that's what those are. Those are your planned orders that you picked up from a cupboard that you are now committed to. But you are not, again, you are not committed to any of these planned orders until you have picked them up, they've been transferred to your troop, and they are in your possession. All right. One thing you might see at your cupboard is a planned order receipt. Or you can print off your own planned order receipts. So if you have a parent who is picking up cookies for you, and you want to make sure that they have a planned order receipt so that they can bring it to their cupboard. And then I know at the Boise cupboard, we have a page that is printed off that has signatures on it. So we'll have anyone who's picking up sign for it. But if you want to make sure that you, as your troop, you have one on your end, you can print this off, send it with whoever's picking it up, and then they can sign it, your cupboard can sign it, just to say that this is actually the order that was picked up. Or if you decide you wanted to pick them up or print these out when you've placed your planned orders so that you have that record. And then when you're going back through your transfers, all of your cupboard to troop transfers can match up to one of your planned order receipts. So, but this is something that troops have access to, and they can download and print off themselves. Okay, and I think that is the last bit on planned orders. Ah, right. If you have any questions, please reach out to customer care at girlscouts-ssc.org. So next Tuesday, 6 p.m., we have our Q&A session over the initial order and planned orders. We are going to prioritize those questions, but you can also ask any other questions about the cookie program, or about registering in Digital Cookie, or if you're having an issue with this or that. So we can take those questions, but we will prioritize questions on initial order and planned orders. The link to that Q&A session, I will post it on our Girl Scouts cookies and parents and volunteers Facebook page. Also, it is on our events calendar in our GS events. So if you go to our Girl Scouts of Silver Sage website, click on the little calendar icon, and then you can go to next Tuesday, the 20th, and you will be able to see that there is a Q&A session, and the link for the Zoom is in there. So hopefully we will see you and all of your questions on the 20th. Additionally, for the initial order, we do have a couple of cookies and coffees events. So cookies and coffee is something that Service Unit 55 started, and it is just an event where you kind of come and go as you need to, ask your questions about your initial order. They have experienced volunteers and their service unit cookie manager available to ask questions to look at your initial order and help you make that calculation or enter it or answer any questions that you might have about your initial order, planned orders, and how to do any of those steps. So Service Unit 55 is hosting their cookies and coffee event again at the VFW in Meridian, and it is going to be on January 25th. Also on GS events, so you can either register there or grab the address and pop right in. It is just kind of a come in as you go. So if you are local to the Treasure Valley area and you want to stop in for some cookie help, they have that available. I also have a virtual cookies and coffee event going on at the exact same time, but it is on Zoom. So you can pop into Zoom. I'll answer questions you might have about your initial order, similarly to what they are doing in person. But I know not everyone is available in the Treasure Valley area, so we wanted to make sure we offered a virtual version. So questions about your initial order, reach out to customer care, reach out to your service unit cookie manager. A lot of them have been doing this for a few years, so they know what they're doing, or they're being mentored by somebody who knows what they're doing. Or we have in our cookies and coffee events, you're welcome to pop in those, either the virtual or in person. And good luck, Girl Scouts. Enjoy selling your cookies.